Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something that is, without a doubt, a huge source of stress when it comes to planning a wedding. It's this tiny little detail that honestly causes massive headaches for venues, for caterers, and for couples. So, let's jump right in.
So let me just ask you this, especially if you manage a wedding venue. What do you think is the single biggest cause of that last-minute panic? What's the one thing that always seems to stir up chaos right before the big day? Just think about it for a second.
Now, you're probably thinking of the usual suspects, right? The decor, maybe the flowers, or getting that minute-by-minute timeline perfect. And yeah, those are all tough, for sure. But believe it or not, they aren't the number one culprit. Not by a long shot. It's this. Dietaries. Yep. That one simple word covers a whole world of complexity and, way too often, a world of pain. It might sound crazy, but managing special meal requests is consistently the biggest headache in the business. So in this explainer, we are going to pull back the curtain on this hidden stress point. We're going to look at why this whole process gets so chaotic and, way more importantly, how you can fix it for good. I mean, just look at the variety here. This is what makes it so tough. We're not just talking about a vegetarian option anymore. For any wedding, you could be juggling all of this at once. Vegans, halal meals, gluten-free, serious nut allergies, diabetic needs, even special meals for the kids. Every single one is a critical piece of info that has to be tracked perfectly. It is a logistical nightmare. And that brings us to the real heart of the problem. Why does something that sounds so simple on the surface get so incredibly complicated? Let's dissect the anatomy of this chaos and really see where it all falls apart.
This is why. The information just trickles in from everywhere. You get an initial spreadsheet from the bride, which is great. But then a guest texts her a last-minute change. So she forwards you a WhatsApp. Then another update lands in your email inbox. And of course, someone casually mentions another dietary need during a site visit. It's just this constant, messy stream of updates with no single source of truth.
And what's the result of all that? A complete and total lack of confidence. Seriously, think about that. On the day of the wedding, the three most important players, the bride, the venue, and the caterer, are all just crossing their fingers and hoping the list is right. And we all know hope is not a business strategy. And look, this isn't just a minor inconvenience. This broken system has very real, very painful consequences. You end up with conflicting versions of the spreadsheet, missing information, and just plain wrong numbers for the kitchen. All of this leads to that last-minute panic and, worst of all, really embarrassing mistakes on the day. It's an absolute recipe for disaster. And this quote, it just captures that awful moment perfectly. A guest gets the wrong plate of food and says this exact line. And in that instant, your staff are scrambling, the kitchen is in a spin, and the venue looks totally disorganized. All because of a communication breakdown that happened weeks ago. Sound familiar? So, here it is. This is the big aha moment. This whole thing isn't actually a catering problem. The kitchen is perfectly capable of making the food. The real issue is a guest information management problem. The process, the system that's used to track what people need, is fundamentally disconnected and broken. That's where we need to focus. But the good news is, there is absolutely a better way. There's a way to move from all of that chaos to having complete control. So let's take a look at how we can build a much smarter, much simpler system that just makes this whole headache disappear. This comparison really lays it all out. The old way, it's all manual lists, spreadsheets that are outdated the second you hit save, and constantly chasing the bride for info. But the smart way? It's integrated right into the RSVP. The guests submit their own needs, which means the info is always live and up to date. And the best part? Zero manual data entry for you. It is a total game changer. And it's so simple. The whole process boils down to just 3 easy steps. 1, guests RSVP online. 2, while they're doing that, they select their own dietary needs. 3, that information instantly updates a live report that you and your caterer can see anytime. It's simple, it's clean, and it's always accurate. What's not to love about that? So for you as a venue, the advantages are just massive. Your list is always current, your counts are automatically correct, you're not wasting hours compiling spreadsheets, your catering team can finally trust the data, your staff can avoid those super awkward conversations, and you never have to chase the bride for updates again. It is a win-win-win. But listen, the real benefit here goes so much deeper than just being more efficient. Getting this one little detail right has a huge professional payoff. It's all about the impression you leave and the reputation you build. Because imagine this, a guest with a severe nut allergy arrives, and before they even have to say a word, your staff already knows. That right there, that creates a powerful impression of true professionalism and genuine care. You're not just serving a meal, you're looking after someone. And that's really what great hospitality is all about. And trust me, that level of detail absolutely gets noticed. When a guest feels seen and cared for like that, they remember it. That amazing experience reflects directly on your venue's reputation. And that is what brings people back and gets you referrals.
So let's be really clear about this final point. If these kinds of mistakes are happening at your events, it's almost certainly not because your team is bad at planning. It's because they're being forced to use a bad system. The fault lies with the process, not with the people. And that's a really important distinction to make.
And that leaves us with one last really important question for you to think about. Take a hard look at your current process for handling dietaries. Is it creating stress, confusion, and that last-minute fire drill? Or is it creating a seamless, professional impression that makes every single guest feel looked after? The choice is yours, and it's a choice that will make all the difference for your business.